The Middle East has long been a region marked by conflict and shifting power. Within this landscape, Iran stands as a key player, often at odds with the West. At the center of Iran's political and religious leadership is Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the country's supreme leader. He frequently appears in international headlines, known for his strong anti-Western rhetoric and his firm stance in defending Iran's policies. But beyond the speeches and the symbolism lies a more compelling question. How did Ali Khamenei rise to become the most powerful figure in Iran? Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was born on April 19, 1939, in the holy city of Mashhad, Iran. He was the second of 8 children in a devout religious household. His father, Javad Khamenei, was a respected Islamic scholar and jurist, born in Najaf, Iraq, a city revered in Shia Islam for its religious seminaries and as the burial site of Imam Ali. His mother, Khadijah Murdamadi, came from a well-known Persian family with deep roots in Yazd. The Khamenei family had a strong religious lineage. 2 of his brothers also became clerics, including his younger brother Hadi Khamenei, who would later work as both a cleric and a newspaper editor. His older sister, Fatma, passed away in 2015 at the age of 89. Khamenei's ethnic heritage is mixed. His father was an Azerbaijani Turk from the town of Khameini, while his mother was ethnically Persian. His ancestors originally hailed from Tafresh in what is now Markazi province, before migrating to the northwestern region near Tabriz. Among his forebears was Sayyid Hossein Tafreshi, who is believed to descend from the Aftasi Sayyids, a branch of Shia Muslims, claiming direct descent from the Prophet Muhammad, a lineage tracing back to Imam Ali al-Sajjad, the 4th Imam in Shia Islam. This connection to prophetic bloodlines further strengthened the Khamenei family's religious stature. Khamenei's religious education began early. At just 4 years old, he started learning the Quran at a traditional maktab, a local religious school. His formal clerical training took place at the Hawza, or Islamic Seminary, in Mashhad. There, he studied under well-known scholars such as Sheikh Hashem Kazvini and Ayatollah Milani, completing both basic and advanced levels of seminary education. In 1957, he briefly traveled to Najaf, one of the holiest cities for Shia Islam and a major center of religious learning. However, his father opposed the idea of him staying there long-term, so Khamenei soon returned to Iran. The following year, in 1958, he moved to Qom, Iran's leading center for Shia scholarship. There, he attended lectures by 2 of the most influential clerics at the time, Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Hossein Barujerdian, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, who would later lead the Iranian Revolution. Like many clerics who were politically active during that period, Khamenei wasn't just focused on theology. He was deeply interested in political ideas, especially Islamic revivalism and anti-imperialist thought. This interest would later shape his role in Iran's revolutionary movement. In the early 1960s, as Iran's monarchy pushed toward westernization, a growing number of clerics began opposing the Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi's regime. Among them was Ali Khamenei, deeply influenced by the political teachings of Ayatollah Khomeini. He delivered sermons denouncing the Shah's policies, Western influence in Iran, and the erosion of Islamic values. These activities quickly drew the attention of Savak, the Shah's notorious secret police. According to his official biography, Khamenei was arrested 6 times before finally being exiled for 3 years during the reign of Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. Despite the risks, he remained active in the underground movement, helping to organize clerical networks and distribute Islamic political literature. By the time of the 1979 Iranian Revolution, Khamenei had become a key figure in the movement and a close confidant of Ayatollah Khomeini. After the Islamic Republic was established, Khamenei quickly took on multiple roles in the new government. On 14 April 1979, he was appointed head of the Aston Quds Razavi Foundation, one of the wealthiest and most powerful religious institutions in Iran. According to political analyst Muhammad Sahimi, Khamenei's formal political career accelerated when Akbar Hashemi Rafsanjani, a senior figure close to Khomeini, introduced him into the supreme leader's inner circle. Later, Hassan Rouhani, then a parliament member, helped secure Khamenei's first major position in the revolutionary government, as deputy defense minister. In 1980, after Ayatollah Montazeri stepped down, Khomeini appointed Khamenei as the Imam for Tehran's Friday prayers, a highly influential role with both religious and political weight. He also briefly served as Vice Minister of National Defense, supervised aspects of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and represented parliament on military affairs during the early years of the Iran-Iraq War. These roles steadily elevated Khamenei's profile, both within the government and among Iran's clerical elite, laying the foundation for his rise to the highest office in the country.
مرحوم آیت الله کاشانی چطور؟ مرحوم آیت الله کاشانی یه فرد مکتبی بود.
On June 27, 1981, Ali Khamenei narrowly survived an assassination attempt that would leave him permanently injured. That day, he had just returned from the front lines of the Iran-Iraq War and, following his routine, visited Abuza Mosque in southern Tehran to lead prayers and speak with worshippers. After the first prayer, he began answering written questions from the audience, part of his usual practice. During the session, a young man approached and placed a tape recorder and a few papers on the desk in front of him. Moments later, the device started making a whistling noise, and then suddenly exploded. The bomb had been hidden inside the tape recorder. According to reports, the inside of the device carried a chilling message, a gift from the Furqan group to the Islamic Republic. The blast severely injured Khamenei. He suffered major damage to his vocal cords, lungs, and right arm, which left him permanently disabled. His treatment and recovery took several months. Though the attack was widely attributed to the Mujahideen-e-Khalq, the MEK, other groups like the Furqan group were also suspected at the time, both known for targeting clerics in post-revolutionary Iran. The failed assassination only strengthened his political image, turning him into a symbol of resistance among supporters of the Islamic Republic. After years of loyal service in the revolution and during the war, Ali Khamenei's political stature took a major leap in 1981, when President Mohammad Ali Rajai was assassinated in a bombing. In the October 1981 Iranian presidential election, with only 4 candidates approved by the Guardian Council, Khamenei was elected president of Iran by a landslide, receiving over 97% of the vote. Interestingly, Ayatollah Khomeini had originally opposed clerics holding executive office, but later reversed his position, allowing Khamenei to become the first cleric to hold Iran's presidency. Khamenei's loyalty to the then supreme leader Khomeini paid in a positive form. He was re-elected in 1985, again winning the majority of votes, in an election where only 3 candidates had been approved. As president, Khamenei adopted a hardline stance, vowing to eliminate deviation, liberalism, and American-influenced leftists. His presidency coincided with an intense period of political unrest and suppression. The state cracked down on opposition groups, including guerrilla fighters and non-violent dissidents. Thousands were arrested or executed during this period, with revolutionary courts often issuing swift judgments. During the Iran-Iraq War between 1980 to 1988, Khamenei also played a central role. He developed close ties with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps (IRGC), a powerful military force that later became a cornerstone of his rule. Known for his interest in defense, budgets, and military matters, Khamenei often personally visited war fronts and was seen as deeply hands-on. After the Iraqi army was expelled from Iranian territory in 1982, Khamenei was among those who opposed Iran's counter-invasion into Iraq, a stance he shared with Prime Minister Mir Hossein Mousavi, despite later political rivalries. But perhaps the most pivotal moment came in 1989, with the death of Ayatollah Khomeini. His initial successor, Ayatollah Montazeri, had already been dismissed months earlier for criticizing the regime's harsh policies. The Assembly of Experts met in an emergency session to decide who would inherit the position of supreme leader. Khamenei's name emerged, but there was a problem. He wasn't a marja, a grand religious authority and source of emulation in Shia Islam, the highest clerical rank which the constitution required. Some clerics suggested creating a leadership council, but that idea was rejected after debate. Influential figures like Akbar Hashimi Rafsanjani claimed that Khomeini had favored Khamenei personally. With this endorsement, and amid a moment of national uncertainty, the Assembly elected Khamenei supreme leader on June 4, 1989, with 60 of 74 votes. Initially, he was declared temporary supreme leader due to the legal gap, but shortly after, the constitution was amended to remove the requirement of being a marja. In August 1989, the assembly reconvened and formally reappointed Khamenei, now with full authority. After becoming supreme leader in 1989, Khamenei quickly began consolidating authority by expanding the role of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps (IRGC) beyond the military, into business, media, and intelligence. There were many incidents that happened during his leadership. In 1999, he faced his first major domestic challenge when student protests erupted over the banning of a reformist newspaper. The unrest spread, but was crushed by force after Khamenei declared it a threat to the state. Another such major incident happened in 2009, following the disputed re-election of President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. The country witnessed the Green Movement, with millions protesting alleged vote rigging. Khamenei aligned fully with the hardliners, backing a violent crackdown that left dozens dead and thousands arrested. Throughout his rule, Khamenei enforced a strict version of velayat-e-faqih, the belief that a senior Islamic jurist should hold ultimate authority over politics and society. He promoted tight controls over cultural life, banning Western music from state TV, restricting academic freedoms, and heavily censoring books, films, and the Internet. On women's rights, his stance has been rigid. The state has enforced compulsory hijab laws, barred women from singing publicly, and limited female representation in top government roles. In 2022, the death of Mahsa Amini, detained by the morality police, triggered a national uprising led by women. Khamenei's response was to blame foreign interference, followed by mass arrests and deadly crackdowns. He also supported measures like internet blackouts, tight surveillance, and increased religious policing to suppress dissent. Internationally, Khamenei has maintained a deeply anti-Western ideology, labeling the US the Great Satan and opposing normalization with Israel. Even during the 2015 nuclear deal, he remained publicly skeptical, portraying diplomacy as a tactical necessity, not a shift in worldview. Despite mounting economic pressure, youth unrest, and isolation, Khamenei has held his grip through loyal institutions, particularly the IRGC, judiciary, and clerical networks. His rule is marked not only by ideological endurance but by decades of silencing opposition, controlling narratives, and resisting reform. From the narrow seminaries of Mashhad to the highest seat of power in Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's journey was built on loyalty, discipline, and quiet persistence. He didn't rise through charisma, he rose through structure, survival, and by aligning himself with the right people at the right time. Today, Iran plays a central role in the geopolitics of the Middle East, backing regional militias, influencing proxy conflicts, and challenging Western interests. Its actions ripple far beyond its borders, shaping everything from oil markets to diplomatic flashpoints, and much of that reach traces back to the foundations laid by Khamenei's rule.